10 years earlier, I believed I had built the perfect family through love, loyalty, and sacrifice. Sophia and I shared a beautiful home, successful careers, and dreams of the future. When her father became seriously ill, I promised him he would never face that journey alone. I never imagined that promise would change my entire life. As Robert's health declined, he was admitted to one of the city's best hospitals. Sophia visited whenever her schedule allowed, but most long nights were spent by his bedside. I handled medications, meals, and every conversation that helped lift his spirits. Slowly, Robert began treating me like the son he had always wanted. Robert often shared stories from his younger years while we watched the sunrise through the hospital window. Those conversations became the highlight of each day for both of us. He appreciated being listened to more than receiving expensive gifts. Our bond grew stronger with every passing week. Meanwhile, Sophia became increasingly distant from both her father and our marriage. Business dinners and weekend trips kept replacing family time. I chose not to argue because Robert's recovery mattered more than my own disappointment. Deep inside, however, I knew something had changed. One evening, I noticed Sophia arriving home in an unfamiliar luxury sports car. She briefly introduced Jason Mitchell as an important business associate. Their conversation felt unusually personal, but I kept my attention on Robert's medical updates. I refused to jump to conclusions without knowing the full story. Over the following weeks, Sophia spent more evenings away from home than with her family. Robert quietly asked why she hadn't visited in several days. Rather than criticize her, I simply assured him she was busy with work. He nodded, though the sadness on his face was impossible to miss. One afternoon, Robert thanked me for never asking for anything in return. He said loyalty revealed itself during life's most difficult moments. His words caught me by surprise because I had never expected recognition. Helping family simply felt like the right thing to do. A few days later, Robert requested a private meeting with his longtime attorney. He politely asked everyone else to leave the room during their conversation. For nearly 2 hours, they reviewed important legal documents together. No one outside knew what had been discussed. When the attorney left, Robert looked noticeably more peaceful than before. He smiled at me and thanked me for treating him with dignity instead of obligation. I simply told him that family should never keep score. Those words stayed with him long after our conversation ended. As I walked out of the hospital that evening, I noticed Sophia and Jason talking outside the entrance. They stopped speaking the moment they saw me approaching. I quietly wished them a good evening before driving home alone. I had no idea that Robert had already made a decision that would soon change all of our lives. A few days later, Robert's condition became more fragile, and doctors recommended around-the-clock care. Sophia rarely stayed longer than a few minutes before leaving for another meeting. Most evenings, I remained by Robert's bedside until the nurses changed shifts. He often said my presence gave him more comfort than any medicine. One afternoon, Robert quietly asked a nurse to bring his personal family photo album. Together, we spent hours remembering birthdays, vacations, and old family traditions. He smiled more that day than he had in weeks. Those simple memories became priceless moments for both of us. Meanwhile, Sophia continued appearing in public with Jason at business dinners and social events. Friends quietly began asking why she was never seen visiting her father anymore. She dismissed every question by saying work demanded all of her attention. Robert never complained, but he noticed everything. One evening, Robert asked me a question I would never forget. If someone stands beside you during your hardest days, what do you owe them? He asked softly. I replied that gratitude should always be shown through actions, not just words. He smiled quietly and nodded without saying anything else. The following morning, Robert requested another private meeting with his attorney. This time, 2 witnesses carefully reviewed every legal document before signing. Everything was completed according to state legal requirements. The attorney securely sealed the updated paperwork before leaving. Before leaving that evening, the attorney quietly thanked me for supporting Robert through difficult months. He explained that kindness often carries more weight than people realize. I appreciated his words, but thought little of them at the time. My only concern was Robert's health. Several days later, Robert peacefully passed away with family members nearby. The hospital staff offered their condolences as everyone reflected on his remarkable life. I quietly thanked him for every lesson he had shared with me. The loss left an emptiness that words could not describe. A week later, the family gathered inside the attorney's office for the reading of Robert's estate plan. Sophia appeared confident as everyone took their seats around the conference table. Jason waited quietly outside the office while the legal meeting began. No one knew exactly what Robert had written. The attorney opened the sealed documents and carefully confirmed their authenticity. He explained that every signature and witness had been independently verified. The room became completely silent as he prepared to read Robert's final wishes. Every eye remained fixed on the document. Robert's first written message thanked everyone who had been part of his life. He wrote that true character is revealed through compassion, loyalty, and quiet sacrifice. Those words immediately changed the mood inside the room. Then the attorney turned the page to reveal Robert's final decisions.